Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflex Knitting. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today I have a fun little project for you, and that is this easy one evening knit scarf. And I know you're gonna love making this one. So this is a super easy scarf, and I was really inspired to make this when I was digging through my yarn bins, and I came across this yarn, and I thought it would be really some really fun yarn to use. It's just some blanket yarn, but I thought it was squishy, it was cozy, it was soft, and it just felt really nice to wear. So I thought it would make a great, easy beginner, very fast little project. I'm going to be using some large needles and this thick yarn, and it stitches up really fast. So I'm going to go through the whole thing step by step and stitch by stitch. We're going to learn how to cast on. We're going to learn how to go through the knit stitch step by step. And then at the end, we're going to learn how to bind off our stitches and weave in the ends. So I'm going to go through it step by step, like I said. Now the full written pattern to this, if you want to peek over there, can be found over at the blog. And we're going to go through the full video tutorial today. But also, if you'd like to see this or any other knitting patterns as an ad-free PDF in my Ravelry and Etsy shop, let me know in the comments. I was trying to see what the interest level would be with that. So if you're interested in that, share below in the comments, and I can also put the ad-free PDFs in my shops as well if there's enough people interested in them for that. Now, before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflex video updates. I share full project tutorials like this one, stitch tutorials. Sometimes we just hang out and talk about knitting, and this channel is a really fun place to hang out. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure and click it and get all the latest Fiberflex knitting updates. So let's jump in and learn how to make this beautiful scarf. For this project, you're going to need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, a tape measure is helpful, especially if you want to measure as you go along and change up the sizing a little bit. We're going to be using a pair of US 19 15 millimeter straight needles, okay? Now, this is a little bigger than what this yarn recommends, but it'll give us some nice drape for our scarf, okay? All right, let's talk about this yarn a little bit. I'm going to be using a yarn called Bernat Blanket. This is a really fun choice for a scarf because it's soft and squishy and so super cozy and soft. It's like wearing like a mini blanket around your neck, okay? So each ball of this is 220 yards. And if you need to substitute yarn, just look for 220 yards of a number 6 super bulky yarn. You can find that on, it's a little picture of a yarn ball with a number in it. Just look for one that's a number 6, okay? And then the color I'm going to be using is called Ocean Shades. It's like shades of aqua, blue, green. It's a very pretty yarn and will make a lovely scarf. So let's get started. Okay, so for our quick scarf, we're going to cast on 20 stitches. We're going to use the long tail cast on. So I have one of my needles here, and what we're going to do is I like to do like a little bit longer of a tail than I think I'll need because this is the long tail cast on. So basically I take it in my hand and pull it across and all the way to my other hand. It's like a wingspan's worth, okay? And then we can take, so you have a long tail back here, and that's what we're going to use to cast on our stitches, okay? So what we want to do is put a slip knot on our needle. This will count as our first stitch. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop. Then you're going to take your needle, reach in, bring up a loop, and then you're going to tighten it onto the needle. Not too tight, but snug. Okay, now if you're not familiar with a long tail cast on, I'm going to help you with that. So we have our yarn that goes to our yarn ball over here, and that's going to go out the front. Now towards us back here, we're going to have our tail. We're just going to kind of set that there. Okay. Now if you hold this up, it'll kind of look like an upside down V. Okay. You're going to take your index finger and your thumb, and you're going to come in up underneath of it and sort of grab it with your pinky at the bottom, and then open that up with your fingers. So you have like a diamond shape. Okay. Now take your needle and you're going to go up under your thumb, around your index finger, and through that loop on your thumb. Okay, we're going to do this together. We're going to cast on 20 stitches total. Okay, this is going to be a nice, cozy, generously sized scarf. Okay, so that's 2 stitches. Now do the same thing. Come in, hook it with your pinky, open it up, make that diamond shape, come around your thumb, around your index finger, and through the thumb loop, and then tighten it onto your needle. Okay, so that's 3 stitches. Go around, around, and through, around, around, and through. Okay, now just do that until you have 20 stitches on your needle. Okay, now if you need to back up the video or watch this part in slow motion again, the stitches that I just did, feel free to do that. You can rewatch it as many times as you need. Okay, I'm going to pick up speed a little bit and add the rest of our stitches on. So we have 5, and we're going to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, pushing them back if you need to, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, pushing them back, and 20, just like that, okay? So here is the beginnings of our scarf. Now we're going to grab our other needle. We're going to move on to row 1, okay? So we can get this tail, and if you notice, the tail is pretty long. I always give myself a little bit more than I think I'll need when I do the long tail cast on. We can always weave it in later and snip it a little bit, okay? So now what we'll do is we're just going to start knitting into all of these stitches. And that's how we're going to do the whole scarf. Super fast and easy. And our big needles, we're going to cruise through this yarn ball. Okay. So if you're not familiar with the knit stitch, I'm going to show you how to do that too. So take your needle on the right here. And here's your stitches that you just cast on your left hand. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go up under this needle on your left. Go into that loop and come up under, just like that. Take your yarn, not the tail, but the one that's attached to the yarn ball. Take your yarn, wrap it around that bottom needle only, and then you're going to bring this needle from the back to the front, okay? So slide it around, and as you do that, you're going to catch this loop here. See how I caught that loop? Push it through, push it off the edge, all right? Just like that. Okay, let's do that a couple more times, nice and slow, and then we'll pick up speed, okay? Insert the needle into the next stitch. Come up under, go into that loop, come up under. Now, sometimes you might need to kind of drill it in there because the cast on can be a little snug sometimes, okay? Take your yarn, go around that bottom needle only. Now bring the needle from the back to the front, catching that loop and push it off. Okay, insert into the next stitch, drill it in there if you need to, wrap the yarn around that bottom needle, bring it from the back to the front, catching that loop, push it off. Okay, just like that. All right, let's pick up a little bit of speed. I like to also give this tail a little bit of a tug too, just to kind of snug it up a little bit, okay? All right, let's pick up a little bit more speed, okay? If you need to rewatch the stitches that we just did, feel free to do that as well. All right, go in the next stitch, wrap it around, bring it from the back to the front, push it off, okay? And you're just going to do that for all the stitches all the way across, okay? And you're gonna see some length on this pretty quickly because of these needles are making large loops in our yarn, okay? It's not gonna be wholly, it's just gonna be kind of a little looser than if we were to use smaller needles, okay? But it will make a very nice cozy scarf, okay? So we're just knitting all the way across, each stitch all the way across, just like that. And as you can see too, if you used a self-striping or variegated yarn, now if you have a lot of stitches kind of bunching up here, you can slide them back. But like I was saying before, if you use a self-striping or variegated yarn like I did, you can see all these beautiful color changes are happening, okay? All right, now we're just coming up to the end. We just have a few stitches left, okay? So knit that stitch, knit the last stitch, And that's it, okay? So then what you're gonna do is just keep doing this for the whole rest of the scarf. Very, very easy. So what you'll do is you'll take the needle and pass it to your other hand. You get a little bit more yarn here. Pass it to your other hand, and it will look a little bit loopy here and kind of ruffly. That's okay. Once it gets a little more length, you can kind of straighten things out. But you're just going to keep on knitting, okay? So for the next row, you'll just keep on knitting. And you're just going to do this until your scarf is as long as you would like it to be, or until you run out of yarn. Kind of just whatever comes first, okay? But you're going to have a nice, long, wide, cozy scarf that's going to be, you can knit it up pretty quickly, okay? So keep going with your rows, and when we rejoin, our scarf is going to be a lot longer, and I'm going to show you how to bind off your stitches, because all of these stitches are active on the needle right now. But I'm going to show you how to bind off the stitches, and we'll do just a little bit of finish work. We had a big ball of yarn, so we're only going to have 2 tails at the end. Very, very quick and easy, okay? So keep going with your rows, and when we rejoin, we'll learn how to bind off the stitches as well, okay? So keep going, and we'll rejoin in just a minute. Okay, so we worked our rows until it's about 60 inches long, and now we're going to bind off. We're going to do a basic bind off. It's very, very easy. So let me just get situated here. So what we want to do for that is grab your needle. There we go. And we're just going to start by knitting a stitch, okay? So just knit a stitch, just like that. Now knit the next stitch, and then I like to give this a little tug just to loosen up my loops a little bit. Then you're going to take your left needle and you're going to go into this first stitch that you knit, and you're going to go in with your needle and lift it up, over, and off of that other stitch, like that, okay? And we're just going to do this all the way across until we have just 1 stitch left, okay? So let's do a few together. Knit the next stitch, give it a little tug if you need to loosen up those loops, lift it up, over, and off, knit the next stitch, do the same thing. Lift it up, over, and off, knit the next stitch, give a little tug if you need to, lift it up, over, and off, okay? And you can see already we have an edge that's going to be the top edge of our scarf. So just continue across until you have just 1 stitch left, and then I'll show you how to finish it up. All right, just coming up to the end here, I have my last stitch. We're just going to knit that, and then just lift it up, over, and off that other stitch. Now we have just 1 stitch left, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut the yarn. And with this type of yarn, I like to just pull those crumbs off. I think I mentioned this before, but it's when you cut this type of yarn, it sheds a little bit. So I like to just pull those little yarn crumbs off. And then what you can do is kind of loosen up that loop that's on here, and then just send your tail right through, okay? So go ahead and just pull that through and tighten it down. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your scarf. Now we just used a ball of this, so you'll just have 2 tails if you did the same thing as me. But what we're going to do is just grab our tail here and thread the needle. And then we're going to weave our end in. So just go in one direction with your tail. And this yarn is very forgiving, so it'll be nice and hidden when you weave it in. And then we're going to just come back in the other direction with our tail. And then you can just give it a snip. And again, if you have any little yarn crumbs from this type of yarn, just kind of pull those off. And then just repeat for your other tail. So our scarf is complete. It was so fun and easy to make. I really love the way the colors are playing out in this. So that is how you knit an easy one evening scarf. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux knitting updates. Bye everyone!